Way back in 2004, Sega was in trouble. Sales were down and the arcade market, both Japan and globally, was slipping. In order to keep the company afloat, Sega decided to consolidate all of its subsidiaries. Through this, new teams were formed that were a mixture of both arcade game and console game devs. Toshihiro Nagoshi was appointed as the leader of one of the new mixed teams. Nagoshi had a rich history in the games industry, having developed titles like Daytona USA, F-Zero GX, Spike Out, and Super Monkey Ball. With the new team thrown together in this troubling time and coming from such different development cultures, the crew often found themselves at odds with each other's styles. Nagoshi-san had the idea that the easiest way to get everyone on the same page was to take the whole team out drinking. Every night. Touring the red light districts of Tokyo, Ginza, Shinjuku, and Roppongi, the team quickly bonded. The older members drank and laughed, and the younger ones marveled at the hostesses and the prices of drinks. They'd see suspicious-looking men in casinos so intimidating none of the staff would dare enter. They would talk and drink until early in the morning. Good times were shared, and the team became close-knit. Through these interactions, a new game idea was born from the rarely seen darker side of Tokyo. They toyed with this concept, coming up with scenarios and the main protagonist. There was discussion on how a game like this could run. An RPG? That wouldn't let you really feel the oppressive atmosphere. Luckily, Nagoshi's time studying under AM2's legendary director Yu Suzuki and the arcade team's expertise at fighting games quickly gave them a direction where all members' skills could be used to the fullest, an action brawler RPG. The team considered many different protagonists, even using the story of a detective protecting the public from Japan's undesirable elements. But would that be enough to entice the audience? They wanted a character that could move freely amongst the criminal element. Someone that could get into the back rooms, who wouldn't be afraid to walk into the casinos and brawl in a way the police weren't allowed. So it was decided. The story of an ex-Yakuza, once the strongest and most feared, would get caught up in a conspiracy that would shake the entire town. Around this time, the Japanese game market was waning. Birth rates were down and video games, which were typically umbrellaed under toys, no longer had as many children to market to. Other developers were already trying to appeal to the older demographic that had grown up around classic video games. Sega, unfortunately, lagged behind under the illusion that video games were only for kids. Nagoshi and his team were excited to try something new. This game they had come up with was something Sega had never done before. The closest resemblance was Shenmue, but that was created for and marketed to a teen audience. Their concept was something different, an adult-oriented fighting-based RPG that had you play as a criminal. The pitch was made, and Nagoshi presented it at the next company meeting. He was shot down immediately by the higher-ups, stating, "There's no way a game like that will sell." Unperturbed by this rejection, Nagoshi kept bringing the idea up during design meetings. Continually, he would hear that games are designed for children, it'll never sell. Sega had always been branded as a company that made games for kids, so no one would run the chance of creating a game with no guaranteed market, especially in their tenuous financial situation. No one seemed to understand the concept of the game. They just couldn't see how a game set in Japan's red light district could appeal to anyone. Desperately, he tried to show off his core concepts until rumors of his team working on something crazy started to circulate around the office. The project looked like it was dead in the water, and even Nagoshi's team started doubting him. It likely would have ended there, his team working on just another iteration of a Sega title, if it weren't for longtime Sega producer Masayoshi Kikuchi. Kikuchi-san had been a producer at Sega for many years, and was already well respected for his work on Panzer Dragoon and Jet Set Radio. His way of looking at things became crucial in retooling Nagoshi's concept into something that could reach a wider audience. A game just starring a Yakuza wouldn't be enough to appeal to everyone. Relying on the tropes of honor and revenge, the game would never reach the level it needed to be in order to convince Sega to fund it. That's when Kikuchi had an idea. He sent a proposal to Nagoshi that would become the basis of the entire series, moving it from a simple Yakuza story and focusing on the human drama between the characters. Let's put a little girl in. The idea was an instant hit, and the two got to work on fleshing out the concepts of both Kazuma Kiryu and Haruka Sawamura, a story that brings together a legendary Yakuza and a young girl. Staff at Sega offices gradually began to come around to the idea. At company meetings, it began to gain traction with the higher-ups, and they started to look into going forward with the project. Things were looking up. The dream team of Nagoshi and Kikuchi could create a new type of game. That's when Sega gave them a reality check. A game of this scale would take at least 1 billion yen to make.